Hey, so I'm excited. I just got my decals from Factory Effex. I'm going to get my CRF125 race ready. Signed up for my first dirt bike race with future aces, and I'm really excited. So I went with a pink and red and white colorway. I feel like this is what I want to represent me for dirt and for road racing too. So this is going to be a new experience getting all of these set up. And it looks great. So my numbers are in purple blue with white, because that's the reason why you can tell which group I'm in. So basically this indicates that I'm in the women's category. So now I'm gonna go downstairs and basically disassemble my bike, take off all the plastics, wash them in the shower, because I actually don't have access to a hose. This is the perks of living in a city with no backyard, basically. So this is gonna be a new experience. Okay, so we're out here. It's freezing. I'm really glad that we're just gonna pull the plastics off and bring him inside, because I don't want to do outside. So I've got my toolbox, and let's pull my bike out of the shed. It's pretty tight in here anyways. Doing any work is tough. And so we have Cliff right here. He's a little dirty from practicing last week with my friend Crystal. So let's get to pulling him apart. I'm working in this shed because I live in the city, and basically this is the only storage that I'm lucky enough to have. I keep my motorcycles in here so they stay hidden and don't get stolen, and that's why I'm working in this cramped space. Especially my dirt bike doesn't get too much airtime. The seats come off, and starting to pull the plastics off. They're pretty easy. They're just kind of like are connected with these little butt plugs basically, and they just snap into the bike. So I'm gonna start unscrewing the front too, and then peeling them off. A lot of my tools are nice reminders of my friends and people that I race with, as they were gifts when I first started riding, and I love putting them to good use. So one of the little areas that I got to and didn't really know what to do was when it attaches right here. It's different than I've ever seen. Pardon me, this area is really tight. This little section right here. So basically I need a screwdriver and pliers, and I'm just kind of wiggling it out slowly. And by wiggling, I mean struggling to pull it out. There we have it. And then this should lift right off. Run into a slight problem. Taking off the tail is a lot more difficult than I expected. I'd have to remove the muffler, and then also it looks like there is like an important piece right here that attaches to the tail, and a lot of the electronics look like they're kind of nestled away here. So I don't really want to mess with that too much, just because I am not a professional whatsoever. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave this on. Once I get all the decals set up, I will just come down either race day or maybe when I get there, cloth, or if I have some time tomorrow morning before I take off, and just wipe down the tail. and then install it on here, because that's a pretty simple section. So I managed to get the main panels off, so we have them right here. Right and left main body and the front fender. And I am going to definitely wash this fender out and give these guys a good rinse. We'll start with this one. Since I have a 125, it's pretty small, so just washing in the sink should be fine. Makes my life a lot easier. One of the reasons why my dirt bike is so dirty is because another perk of living in the city is that I don't have access to a hose or any real way to wash my bike down in the little backyard space that I have. This is actually probably the first time that my bike is getting any kind of cleaning, which you honestly should do more often. So this is a little treat for him. Right now here I'm wiping down the plastics, and I'm also gonna use some of my Windex right there to give it a once over to make sure that there's no oil or kind of any random slick chemicals on it. Got my credit card here, gift card Barnes & Nobles. Remember these? So these are actually just extra plate stickers that I got that you can order from Factory Effex. They're basically like, you know, stickers you can stick on your car or, you know, other things that you own, kind of as like a little keepsake, I guess, for your dirt bike. So I'm definitely sticking one of these on my truck. I'm really excited. It also comes with some extra Factory Effex decals. And then here we come to the good stuff. So now I'm gonna be Tetrising and trying to figure out what goes where. It looks like every sticker has its own panel. You know, this is for the front. These go on my forks. This is the tail. So we're gonna do that on the bike itself. This is definitely my number for the side. What else do we got? The other number side plate and my front plate. With number plates, one of the options that you have is to put your name on it, but traditionally you're supposed to have your last name. I decided to go with my first name because more people know me by that, and I'm not running any real serious races, so I didn't think that there was going to be much of an issue. Personally, I think it makes more sense, for me at least. Let's start with this one. Before starting this decal process, I reached out to a couple of my friends who ride dirt bikes and have been through this decal process, and one of them recommended using this trick with soapy water or a cleaning solution where you lightly mist the plastic, and basically it allows you a few seconds to place the sticker down and then adjust its placement so it doesn't stick right away, giving you a little leeway before it sets. For me, I thought it gave a little too much leeway. As you can see, I'm really using the card to scrape out the liquid that's sitting underneath to have it stick down. I chose this front piece as the test because it was the most flat and forgiving piece, so it probably didn't even need that technique. Moving on to the other panels, I decided that I wasn't going to use this technique and just go directly with the sticker on the plastic and gauge it from there. This piece right here was pretty flat, but as you can see, I'm kind of working on some ways to work that little segmented area. Right there where it splits, it's a really sharp curve in the plastic, and you can see I'm really using that card to try to scrape out any air bubbles. That was kind of the most difficult part, I think, about this process, and navigating those really tight curves in the plastic as well. I struggled because with decals, and probably just because my lack of experience, they didn't seem to line up perfectly well. They are aftermarket decals and the plastics are curved, you know, they're not flat, so it took me a minute to adapt to it and try to figure out how to line up and, you know, get the plastic taut in certain sections, and also, you know, how to avoid any creases and wrinkles. I pulled out the hair dryer as well to see if that could help me basically manage through some of the sections that were really tight. So right here, I'm basically doing one last wipe down to get any sticker residue off, and I'm trying to really work that little curve bubble out right there. It's hard to see in the photos, but it didn't come out too bad. I wish it was better, but you know, for the first time, it's basically a Monet. Looks good from afar. Now for the next step, to put the plastics back on. It's early in the morning and I've pulled Cliff out of the shed just because most of my neighbors are still asleep, giving him a good wipe down, and now I can install the rear fender decal. Really working it on, trying to get out the air bubbles here. I struggled with that last night, so I'm really trying to do a good job today. With the front decal, I really want to get that perfect. This is basically where all your race shots are going to be focused, is the front and the side. So you want to make sure that looks spot on for all those glamour shots. Now for the rest of the plastics. This was pretty easy to get back on just because after taking it off, you kind of know what to do and what to expect, and the bolts were pretty self-explanatory. And here's the end product. My bike all loaded up with the decals looking amazing. About to head off to my first sprint enduro with future aces, and I doubt he's ever gonna look this good ever again. Time to test how well these decals are gonna stand up to real world use. And there we go. We survived! But maybe our bikes didn't. That clutch. Mud everywhere. Sorry. Overall, having just installed the decals the night before, they held up really well. As you can see, there's a little spot right at the front where it's peeling off, but you know, after dropping my bike a bazillion times, pulling it out of the most insane ruts, and basically torturing myself for an hour, they lasted, and I totally recommend these Factory Effex decals. As for racing a sprint enduro, that's a whole nother story.